to make you happy. All that time you would be complaining. I'll call you every day, yeah, yo, baby, don't know.
You can now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks. Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000. Or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100 *21 hash and select daily, or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
Hello and welcome to News Tonight. I am Rhoda Ngonzi, on sign language Elizabeth Nakakoni. Let's take a look at the top stories. President Museveni kicks off Lango sub-region PDM tour. Uganda speaks out on invasion of its embassy in Kinshasa by rioters. And crisis in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo intensifies as thousands flee. Once again, President Yoweri Museveni has kicked off the Parish Development Model Assessment visit at Lango sub-region today. He visited different farmers in Kole and Lira districts. He was impressed with the participation of citizens in wealth creation and PDM projects. The president also visited Amolota district, where he interacted with Joel Okello, a model farmer who is doing farming and cattle keeping.
President Yoweri Museveni has started his wealth creation and PDM tours of Lango sub-region.
When you look at Lango sub-region, as much as the national average says that 39% of the population is within the subsistence economy and they need to be placed into the money economy.
But now with the Parish Development Model, we're here to check how have the people utilized the 1 million that we gave per person in a parish.
The story from all the sub-regions where we have gone is very, very motivating and inspiring. From Acholi to West Nile to Masaka to Bukedi to Bugiso.
He started the tour in Amolota district, where he inspected the farm of Ewan Joel Okello.
We are exceedingly humble and grateful that amidst your tight schedule, you have taken this initiative to come and visit a model farmer in Amolota district.
Schooling, we would survive on distilling waragi, and I know it up to tomorrow.
That in whatever we do, for many years, for me who was born in Minakulu bordering Gulo, when I was young, I was always running from the LRA wars, and I know the fruits of peace.
Okello is a distinguished model farmer.
But now you can see these young men, as they hold hands together with their wives, their work will multiply, their farms will become stronger, and our communities will grow stronger. It's possible for Africa to stand up and build Africa and be an example on the global table to discuss how the globe should be built and how it should go.
Now in Africa, the main problem is Nino Matek. This is the problem in many parts of Africa, but also in Uganda.
The president is in the company of the First Lady, Janet Kataha Museveni.
I want to congratulate Mama Akori.
Yeah, yo mama tupoyo, Mama Akori.
And her husband. For getting out of sleepy. This is the big problem of Africa. There's a lot of potential, but it's not used.
Because our target and the target of President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni is that everyone must get out of poverty. I mean, everyone. And what we have in plan is that we're going to put this money in every financial year.
If resources could allow, we would need to consider increasing the money for PDM. And that is something that His Excellency the President has already presented before Cabinet. We know that in 1, 2 or 3 years' time, the funding for PDM will be increased.
Akoi Rose, a beneficiary of the parish development model funds in Kole district, is among those who have hosted the president.
Now she's motivated. She doesn't have a good facility to keep these pigs. She's now motivated. She wants to get a good shelter for keeping these pigs.
I will help her to buy another oxen.
Akoi thanked the president for the PDM seat capital, although she needs more support.
And I believe that irrespective of whether you're opposition, whether you're NRM, the 39% poverty does not just strike on the door of NRM, on the door of UPC, on the door of FDC or NUP. Poverty strikes on every door.
I am one of the people who are good candidates of a parish development model. I have a 4-acre model for coffee and 1 acre for cocoa. I've invested heavily in it and I'm expecting great returns. So I preach it and I practice it.
The president concluded the first day of his tour in Lira district, where he visited Apio Vicky, another PDM beneficiary.
So while women in government, the NRM has been trying to lift up women so that they can work together with their husbands or with men.
Apoi Rubanga now gave Apio and her family the 15 million.
The president will be in Lango until Friday. Robert Onyango, UBC News.
Meanwhile, Parliament has tasked the government to present the circumstances under which led to the attack of Uganda's embassy in the Democratic Republic of Congo. This follows a social media video recording showing suspected rioters attacking, burning and looting equipment at the embassy. The Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Thomas Tayebwa, told the House that government will on Wednesday during plenary session explain accordingly. Tayebwa responded after some MPs led by the Leader of Opposition fronted the concerns on the floor during the Tuesday parliamentary session.
So just and faithful a manner as to promote your honor and glory and to advance the good of those whose interests you've
presented. Honorable Speaker, I want to draw your attention and to seek your indulgence. There is a brewing conflict in eastern DRC. DRC is our neighbor. There are a couple of Ugandans who are in DRC, and what's happening there is of great concern to us as a country. Honorable Speaker, for about 4 years, the Ugandan ambassador to DRC has not been accredited. So I actually keep wondering about our relationship with DRC, what it's like as we speak today. I'll also remind you that while Uganda waived visa fees for DRC, DRC has not returned the same favor. So it appears to me as if we have some kind of frosty relationship with DRC, and now with the ongoing conflict there, it is concerning.
But government already has moved requesting for space on the order paper, and they were in a meeting, right now they were in a meeting, because I told him if I could give him space today, but he told me, of course, statements of this nature, you have to be very, very cautious, or else you might end up causing much more problems. So they were in a meeting, and he told me they had already been speaking to the CDF of DRC. Then they were consulting other people to finalize on a statement which can come here. So I request that we do tomorrow, we give him space, since it was his initiative.
That's situation is very tense and hostile in Kinshasa at the moment. There's people are living under fear because they are marauding youth who are going from place to place, burning embassies and their property and losing their properties. All our staff are safe. They are in hiding. They feel threatened, but otherwise they are safe. Properties in the embassy has been looted. Chairs, desks, tables have been looted, and the curtains have been also been pulled out, but were looted. But it is very sad and very unfortunate that this happened. But we also thank God that our staff are safe. My guideline is that nobody should travel to the DRC at the moment. And my advice is that we should sit and watch the situation, see how it evolves, and then we'll be able to take a decision in 2 or 3 days. I don't know why they target us. They use us as scapegoats. We have not done anything. We have not caused anything in the DRC, but we are targeted. It's very unfortunate.
Meanwhile, the Democratic Republic of Congo's foreign minister has warned of an attack of unprecedented intensity as rebel forces, reportedly backed by foreign allies, advance towards Goma, a key eastern city. Escalating violence has heightened fears of further destabilization in the region, forcing thousands to flee their homes. Kenyan President William Ruto has called on for an urgent summit of East African leaders to address the crisis. He urged presidents of Rwanda and DRC to heed the call of peace and prioritize de-escalation efforts to restore stability.
The escalating conflict and deteriorating situation in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo are a grave concern to the people and governments of East Africa. Noting the worsening humanitarian crisis exacerbated by ongoing military actions, including the closure of airspace in Goma, I call for the immediate and unconditional cessation of hostilities. I call on the parties to the Luanda process on Eastern DRC and appeal specifically to my brothers, President Felix Tshisekedi and President Paul Kagame, both of whom I have had the occasion to speak to this evening, to heed the call for peace from the people of our region and the international community. We will be convening an extraordinary East African Community Summit within the next 48 hours to facilitate and to deliberate on this crisis and chart a way forward.
Tuko nasikia mabombe ziko natokea huku zengine huku na huku. Ndio tumeona na sie hatuwezi kufia pale, umwe tukimbie. Tuko naenda tu Goma, mimi tuko nasikia sana Goma ziko tunapiga. Hatujue kama tukimbilie wapi, tushakosa makimbilio.
Well, I think we ought to be looking at the situation on the ground right now. The situation on the ground right now is that a city such as large as Goma, with millions of civilians, is being taken in an onslaught by the Rwandan Defense Forces and the M23. Granted, every country is allowed to feel preoccupied by its safety. This is a legitimate concern, and I am not questioning it, but we have to have a clear distinction between the concern and the reality. And the reality right now is, yes, maybe Rwanda is concerned with its territorial integrity, but the DRC is the country whose territorial integrity is being violated by Rwanda. It is the DRC and the Congolese people who are being killed right now.
Tshisekedi kama anashindwa kazi atoke achebe wanaweza kiti waikale, sisi tutakuwa na shinda, tuko nakimbia kila siku. Mimi nilikiaka niko mzima, juu kushindwa vuka barabara bashaka nigonga, nishakuwa kilema. Kila siku tutakuwa nakimbia, kila siku tukimbie. Atutafutie solution ya kurudia kwetu.
Is not a DRC specific crisis. This should compel all true contributing countries to engage in a robust conversations with the United Nations, with DPKO, on what it means to be a true contributing countries. How is it permissible that a country, one of the largest true contributing countries, gets away with killing peacekeepers, as peacekeepers from South Africa, Malawi, Uruguay were killed in less than 24 hours. This is unacceptable. It is a violation of all the principles of the United Nations. And I think that every self-respecting truth-contributing country, such as South Africa, has also a responsibility, but also a right to have an answer from the UN as to what standards it applies when it engages in partnerships and how it holds partners accountable to respect international law.
Right, now President Museveni has signed the National Sports Amendment Bill 2024 into law. The Presidential Press Unit has confirmed the new law is expected to bolster Uganda's sports sector by aligning it with international standards, particularly in the fight against doping.
Sports Amendment Bill was introduced to revise Uganda's National Sports Act Cap 151, ensuring compliance with the World Anti-Doping Code and the UNESCO International Convention Against Doping in Sport. These amendments were critical to avoiding potential bans on Ugandan athletes in international competitions due to non-compliance. Key provisions in the amended law include the establishment of an independent national anti-doping organization, expanded definitions of doping violations, and the imposition of stricter penalties for athletes and individuals involved in doping-related offenses. The law also mandates the timely adoption and publication of international anti-doping standards.
And 9. Quick release.
First reading in 2022 and passed by Parliament in March 2023. The bill underwent revisions before receiving final presidential assent. Notable updates include the formal recognition of archery as a sport and other structural improvements to the framework governing sports in Uganda. The bill was initially tabled for its first reading on November 10, 2022, and passed by Parliament on March 2, 2023. Following a review and incorporation of key amendments, the introduction of archery as a recognized sport and the removal of kickboxing, the bill was returned by the President and subsequently reconsidered by Parliament. Reporting for ABC TV News, Helen Barbara Gizamba and Samuel Senono.
It is a 10, and Hall gets the tie he needed to take the...
Meanwhile, government of Uganda is set to restructure the budget framework paper to accommodate gaps created by the funding cuts announced by the U.S. government. While presenting the weekly cabinet decisions, Minister for ICT and National Guidance, Dr. Rhoda Ngonzi, expressed government's commitment of continuing with critical service provisions despite aid cut by the U.S.
The United States State Department last week issued a directive stopping foreign grant spending for 90 days. This came after President Donald Trump signed an executive order that sought to realign foreign spending with American interests. Uganda is among those affected countries by the directive.
We appreciate the support that we receive from external partners, but if they choose to withdraw or reduce the funding, we say so be it. And the good thing, we are now in the early stages of the budgeting process. We shall critically examine the budget and see where there are those funding shortfalls, and then we should be able to do and make the necessary allocations within the domestic budget to fill those gaps.
The most affected sector is health, and government plans to identify critical projects for commencement, particularly those caring for persons living with HIV/AIDS.
Some of that support goes to areas of antiretroviral therapy and the other forms of support. So we shall cover those gaps through allocation of the domestic resources in our budgeting.
The American funding through USAID is totaling to a tune of $1.5 billion US, and much of it is projected to health sector and humanitarian disciplines. The fate for those projects is uncertain upon freezing of the fund. Meanwhile, government has established screening centers at Uganda border points where receiving Congolese nationals running away from the M23 insurgency in Goma.
In many of the areas like Kisoro, like Kanungu, Kasese, we have transition centers where people who cross are put in transition camps, and the necessary screening is carried out, working together with UNHCR, with the Red Cross and other agencies, and then the refugees are afterwards transported to the refugee camps. So we have a very rigorous and thorough process at the border points to screen all those who are coming.
According to the ICT minister, the M23 rebels are not hostile to Uganda and Ugandan nationals, and thus there is no cause for alarm or fear among natives at the border points.
I think the issues of M23 are with DRC, not with Uganda. So we don't expect them to become a danger to Ugandans on the border points where they are fighting the DRC government.
The influx of Congolese refugees into Uganda escaping exchange of fire between FARDC forces and M23 is likely to trigger one of the worst humanitarian crises in the region. Abdunasele Lubwama for UBC.
Sound equipment, including speakers, transmitters, mixers, among others, have been impounded in clubs, bars and lounges in the areas of Kololo and Nalia. Operation on regulation of noise pollution was mounted by NEMA following complaints from residents over noise.
Due to a number of happening places surrounding the area, most of these areas in question are mainly residential areas. During the compliance operation by NEMA, sound equipments including speakers, transmitters, mixers, among others, were impounded in some of the major clubs, bars and lounges in the areas of Kololo and Nalia.
The neighbors of Horace Restaurant and of Lagatos Bar in Nalia. The other one is in Kololo. So the neighbors have previously talked to us, come to us, complained about noise pollution.
The compliance operation mounted by NEMA followed several complaints over noise pollution from the residents in the surrounding areas.
And we have severally warned these proprietors about noise pollution until when we swung into action this afternoon.
The National Environment Noise Pollution Standards and Control Regulation 2003 stipulates that the level of noise that is safe for humans should not exceed 85 decibels. According to the regulation, in residential areas, the permissible noise levels for discotheques, places of worship and construction sites should not exceed 60 decibels during day and 40 at night. For commercial areas, only 75 decibels of noise are permitted during day and 50 decibels at night.
Because noise pollution is prohibited by the National Environment Act, CAP 181. Please stop it because government will take you to the court of law.
However, many happening places have continuously abused the regulation.
Bars, churches, mosques, and places of leisure and other places, including our homes. I want to advise them to stop noise pollution.
Noise pollution is harmful to humans because it causes health issues like high blood pressure, cardiovascular problems, cognitive impairment, especially among children and the elderly, and also causes sleep disturbance and disrupts concentration. Susan Naong and Michael Bakabulindi reporting for EBC TV.
Here's your chance to win school fees for your child for a whole year. Just pay school fees using Momo. Dial *165 *80#. Select option 2 for school pay. Select option 1 to pay school fees. Enter the student number and amount and approve the transaction. You are now entered a draw to win school fees.
A smile that is white, fresh and beautiful is a smile to be proud of. Discover new Colgate White and Fresh for the whole family with high quality and an incredible price.
Step into a world of excellence, comfort and pride with Royal Foam Furniture, crafted to perfection right here in Uganda. We bring you state-of-the-art living room furniture and bedding products at affordable prices. Our wide variety of mattresses include orthopedic, pillow top, spring mattresses suitable for institutions like hotels and many others for home comfort. With every piece telling a story of royal excellence, our products are built with the highest quality materials made to last. Experience royalty with Royal Foam Furniture, proudly made in Uganda, so buy Uganda and build Uganda. Visit our showrooms at Ginger Road, Chambogo Junction, Bukota Chisasi Road, and on Victoria Mall, Entebbe, on the first floor.
It's our mission to secure your money.
Protecting your money is as important as earning it. It is for this reason that the Deposit Protection Fund of Uganda, DPF, was established by the government of Uganda to provide deposit protection to customers of regulated financial institutions. In the unlikely event that your commercial bank, credit institution or microfinance deposit-taking institution fails, the DPF will pay you up to 10 million Uganda shillings. Keep your personal information such as national identification number, mobile phone or an alternative bank account updated with your banker. Terms and conditions apply. For more information, contact DPF at Aha Towers, Plot 7 Lodell Road, Kampala. Call 0312-206-400 or visit our website at www.dpf.or.ug.
We are the DPF. We protect your money. Protection Fund of Uganda.
Special announcement. The NRM National Chairman General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni Tibuhaburwa informs all party members and the entire public that the display and update of the members register commences this Wednesday, January the 29th to Saturday, February 1st, 2025. During the exercise, the following activities will be undertaken. Registration of new members, including students aged 16 and 17 years, as identified by the NRM Village Committee, and checking the accuracy of members' particulars. At the end of the update exercise on Saturday, February 1st, 2025, a village baraza will be held to scrutinize the register and subject it to a public audit where ineligible members will be deleted and any eligible members physically present be added. Announced by the Right Honorable Richard Todwang, Secretary General of the NRM.
Welcome back. You are still watching News Tonight. The Director, NRM Mobilization, Rosemary Seninde, has launched an initiative to refresh and streamline the NRM voters register in Greater Masaka. During the launch, she called on NRM members to end internal conflicts and urged leaders to ensure that potential candidates are well prepared for party primaries, which should emphasize merit and capacity.
As Uganda moves closer to the 2026 general elections, political parties are stepping up efforts to secure victory. On this day, Honorable Seninde gathered in Masaka City to spearhead the process of verifying and updating the NRM membership register across the region. The initiative, which began on Wednesday last week, will run until Saturday and aims to ensure that party activities are conducted smoothly and inclusively. The launch included training sessions for district level leaders and NRM secretaries on effectively managing the registration process. These leaders in turn, are expected to train sub-county and village coordinators to ensure the thorough execution of this task.
To be honest with you, ekyokubeera nti ekyobutabeera na primary election namusamateeka yaffe ekyongerako nti bwe babeerawo consensus building abantu ne bakkiriziganya mu buntu ne bakkiriziganya bulungi constitution yaffe ekyekikkiriza so bwe bwanga abantu bakkiriziganyiza bulungi abaagala okwesimbawo bali 10 naye ne batuula ne bakkiriziganya nga nammwe abataka oba abakulembeze musobodde okubamatiza naye munnaffe namubadde oyagala kwesimbawo naye ku ground toliiyo olwoba ensonga bweti ne bweti tojja kumalako kaakati gwe dda ku muluka obadda ku bwa chairman obwa district obadda ku bwa chairman obw'eggombolola obadda ku bwa kansala kaakati wano katutwale gundi ne wabeerawo enkwatagana eyo nze ndowooza NRM atejja kubeera ereese essuula empya.
Seninde emphasized that the party is shifting to a modern digital system for its membership register. She noted that this system will enhance efficiency and transparency, making it easier for every registered member to verify their information through technological platforms.
Bantu baffe abagenda okwesimbawo ab'NRM because tujja kugezaako nnyo okulaba nga tubongereza tugezeeko okukendeeza entalo ze tubeeramu mu NRM. Okwerwana, okwekulumaaluma ebitagasa, ebitayamba kibiina. Kubanga buli lwe twerumaaluma, buli lwe twekubaakuba, tuwa omwagaanya bannaffe ab'opposition ne batuyitako. Oluusi ogenda n'ogatta obululu obwali ow'NRM n'ogatta n'eyali independent nga yeeyita simanyi independent leaning, NRM leaning, ng'ogenda okulaba nga ow'opposition yandibadde tayitawo.
NRM will not proceed with internal primaries unless the membership register is fully updated and digitized. Despite the enthusiasm, some NRM leaders in Masaka expressed concerns about the feasibility of the program. The exercise will conclude on Saturday this week. Sudat Kaye, UBC News.
Also, the National Resistance Movement NRM Secretary General has addressed leaders undergoing a one-week leadership training program that's at Palabek Secondary School in Lamore District. The cadreship development course has attracted over 700 local leaders from Lamore, Kitgum and Pader districts. The training is to empower these local party members and leaders to understand their roles in societal transformation and economic development. NRM Secretary General Richard Tedwong stressed the importance of self-transformation and embracing economic empowerment initiatives to reduce regional poverty.
Encouraging them to start this journey by transforming themselves mentally, psychologically and economically before they can be leaders of the people. The people need leaders who are exemplary in nature. So I was reminding them to become these leaders that people should bank on, leaders that have what to show, and leaders who are honest and dedicated to the principles of NRM. And I want to congratulate Honorable Engineer Eli Ronek, the Minister, and Honorable Lilian Abe for organizing this. And this is what should be done in all the sub-regions of Uganda.
Actually, sub-region, you realize that the level of poverty is second to Karamoja. Now that tells us that our people have not adapted to the messages that the president has been preaching, basically on issues of economic empowerment, using what government has brought like PDM, Imioga, the youth livelihood, and even GROW that has come of recent. Now all this, the training is focused to try and make our people understand these messages of doing farming as a business, not just farming for basically what the president refers to, mecham.
Now, the Commissioner General Uganda Prison Services, Dr. Johnson Byabashaija, has assured Parliament that the former president of the FDC, Dr. Kiza Besigye, is safe in Luzira Upper Prison. The safe restriction of him accessing of accessing him is aimed at giving no room to those who may want to harm him. Biabashaija made the remarks while appearing before the Human Rights Committee of Parliament. Rhoda Ngonzi has more.
Members of Parliament on the Committee of Human Rights have interacted with the Commissioner General Uganda Prison Service, Dr. Johnson Biabashaija, following their visit to assess the conditions of detention of former President of FDC, retired Dr. Kizza Besigye, in Luzira Upper Prison. Members of Parliament Francis Mwijuche and Jonathan Odur expressed concerns from Dr. Kizza Besigye of denying him to access places of worship on Sunday, unlike other inmates.
Says that in the past he was allowed to move around Boma and do exercises, but at this time round he's not allowed to do that.
Confirm, because he told us that he went for hunger strike. He refused to eat when the prisons denied him the opportunity to prepare his own nutritious and adequate food.
The prisons restricted him. They said his food cannot come, he should buy from the canteen, and if he wants to buy anything, they should use the staff. So he went on hunger strike.
On the other hand, some members of Parliament said Besigye was appreciative of the treatment accorded to him in prison.
He actually confirms to the committee that he has been getting fair treatment compared to the years he was in custody.
Medication, he said whatever he needs concerning his health has been provided to him.
The Commissioner General Uganda Prison Service, Dr. Johnson Biabashaija, told the committee that some time held talks with Besigye's relative who expressed concerns about his life in prison. However, he instructed the in-charge to allow Besigye more freely within the confinements of prison.
Take any chances? You know, it is very serious when somebody says that you want to kill him and you are the one keeping him. It's very challenging. That's why I have made those restrictions. Ward 19, I have got capability to serve for surveillance 24/7.
Odur also questioned why officers of Luzira Prison denied access to Besigye's lawyer, Elias Lukwago, having indicated in their response to Parliament that legal presentation is never interfered with.
What are the conditions for the lawyers? Because he reached there, he was told to introduce himself, to get a letter from his law firm, which law firm is called Lukwago and Company Advocate.
You take precedence over others, and that's what we did. And the officer in charge has got a right to deny you to enter his prison if you are unruly.
Responding to the 19th January incident, the Commissioner General Biabashaija told the committee that the assistant superintendent went to Besigye's ward at the time of changing shift.
I've picked particularly the powers of inspection. It gives an officer at the rank of assistant superintendent and above. And you have told us here that some couple and they are named and they are the ones who went there. So my question then is, why would you violate your own rules?
Time of changing shift. Because the assistant superintendents go there between 23 hours and 5 o'clock. The assistant superintendent. So we didn't violate our rules. I have to investigate it. I have the CCTV.
Meanwhile, MPs observed the congestion in Luzira Prison. Biabashaija said they are currently having an increase in prisoners with limited funding. The report of the Human Rights Committee was presented to the House during the Tuesday session, where MPs expressed mixed reactions.
Dr. Kizza Besigye to make a self-assessment of his strength, his health. When he was produced before the committee, I had even asked him to make his submissions while seated. And his answer was, I am strong enough to stand.
It's going beyond the scope and our mandate as Parliament to order, that the detention in Rizira be terminated and any trial be held in civilian court.
The Attorney General and the Chair to also take cognizance of this fact that in criminal cases, the prosecutor is the executive, ordinarily. And even where there is a compelling reason to prosecute, they can decide to discontinue the case.
I'm Nafka Farid and Gloria Gwitabinji at Parliament.
Defense Forces General Umuhozi Kainerugaba has promoted Brigadier General Felix Kulaije, the acting Defense Public Information, to the rank of acting Major General due to his excellent long service representing the UPDF in the public domain. The Ministry of Defense and Veteran Affairs and indeed the UPDF family congratulates the General Officer for the promotion well deserved. Kulaije was born circa 1964 to Frederick Simachacha and Regina Abagirinka in Gayaza village, Masaka district. The family migrated from Kisoro district, eventually settling in present-day Bukuma and Simbi district. He is the last born in the family of 9 siblings. His mother died soon after Kulaije was born, and he grew up in an orphanage in Rutshuru in Kisoro district. He attended several primary schools, completing P7 at St. Herman Nkoni Boys Primary School in Masaka. He attended Kabalega Secondary School for O levels and Kololo High School for his A levels. Later, he entered Makerere University, graduating with a Bachelor's of Arts in Education in 1989, and later a Master's of Arts in Economic Policy and Planning, also at Makerere University. Now, Major General Francis Takira, Deputy Commander Land Forces, has praised the UPDF's Chieftaincy of Production and Welfare for their efforts in realizing the Commander-in-Chief's vision of a modern army. Major General Takira made these remarks at Kabamba during the official launch of the post-harvest season, highlighting the importance of innovative farming practices and mechanization in enhancing productivity and efficiency.
Where you see the dry maize, that's another village, sub-county.
Major General Sam Chonoko, the Chief of Production and Welfare, led the Deputy Land Forces Commander, Major General Francis Takirwa, on a guided tour. Major General Francis Takirwa represents the Chief of Defense Forces, General Muhoozi Kainerugaba, at the post-harvest official launch.
I'm happy with the projects I've seen, which are a diversification of income generation. You have animals, you have bees, you have tomatoes, you have trees.
So we liberated this country in 1986. It was a constitutional mandate that UPDF is and must be a productive army.
The two decorated generals, Major General Sam Chonduka and Major General Francis Takirwa, embarked on a comprehensive tour of the entire UPDF farm at Kabamba.
Our performance in the 6 farms depends on the size. We have Kabamba, which is 5,225 in terms of acreage. That is 3,200 like this season, which have been active. Active, I mean, where we have planted the maize. We have another farm which is active, or which has been active this season, is Changwali with 1,800 acres.
UPDF's agricultural projects at Kabamba contribute to Uganda's food security. The launch of the post-harvest season at Kabamba Chieftains marked a significant milestone in UPDF's effort to promote agricultural development and self-sufficiency.
Another area we had to look at to stabilize the price of food in the country, because we have the land as one of the factors of production. Having grown a lot of maize, automatically the price had to stabilize, and we have achieved it.
So why did I tell you about Maganjo? Uganda is still lucky that despite the outcome of COVID inconvenience globally, we still have food.
By adapting modern farming techniques and technology, the UPDF aims to provide livelihood of Ugandan citizens. The UPDF's agriculture projects also provide economic benefits to local communities and contribute to the country's food security. Haruna Mutesasira, UBC News.
Palm oil growing is being fronted as one of the alternative commercial agricultural ventures in Busoga sub-region. Area leaders say palm oil trees so far sampled indicate promising results. Boaz Persis Namuganza, State Minister for Housing and Urban Development, and Rukia Nakadama, the third Deputy Prime Minister, see the venture as an economic game changer for the sub-region.
Until recently, sugarcane growing was the main known venture and cash crop for Busoga sub-region. This is, however, shifting to other undertakings to socially and economically empower sugarcane farmers with small pieces of land.
Those ones who have planted on big scale, they have achieved, and they feel they cannot leave that program, because most of the sugarcane industries are in Busoga. So if those people don't plant the sugarcane, then we shall again start importing it from Kenya to Uganda. So they have to remain in that program. But these ones who are planting on a small scale are the ones who are not supposed to be in that program. They need to get out of it and join another program.
One of the answers to this setback is palm oil growing, which leaders are already embracing.
I have sampled a few plants of oil palm. They look great. They have very big fruits and very many of them. So in fact, myself, I used to think that oil palm does not grow here, but it does. And yet one fruit, it yields massively.
They want it because it is one of the programs that we informed Muzei that it can work in our region, Busoga. So that is the level where it is. Some people have already started, they have planted.
The request for palm oil growing in Busoga was emphasized by area leaders during the 2022 Bishop Hannington Day celebrations in Mayuge district. The event was graced by President Yoweri Museveni, who answered to the requests in affirmative.
You
write to me so that I have the file and I say, Nakadama Yankovera, nti ikemu yebinazi egenda kuwereza omunaku wange wabusoga milioni 2 awongenda kubawagirira ddala.
Embracing the initiative is already on course, with leaders taking the lead.
So I think when the president accepts to empower us and release resources, as we asked him when we met him in Entebbe State House, it will be a good project. It's going to change the lives of our people. Then we add on all these other crops he's talking about, the coffee, the dairy farm.
People have already planted. They are requesting for more investment in it. They were requesting for fertilizer. They were requesting for irrigation, and they are requesting for more input in that program because it has just started.
For decades now, only the southern district of Kalangala was known for large-scale cultivation of palm oil trees. Embracing of the project in the island district of Buvuma, and now Busoga sub-region is taking the initiative a notch higher. Henry Okrut, UBC.
And with that, we'll take a quick break. When we return, business news.
You used to tell me that I don't make you happy. All that time you would be complaining. I'll call you every day, yeah yo, baby dondolo.
You can now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks, Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000 or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100 *21 hash and select daily or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
A smile that is white, fresh and beautiful is a smile to be proud of. Discover new Colgate White and Fresh for the whole family with high quality and an incredible price.
Government of Uganda presents Post Buses in Uganda, operated by Posta Uganda. We specialize in professional transport, courier and vehicle hire services across Uganda. Our routes include Kampala Masaka Mbarara Kabale Chisoro, Kampala Mukono Jinja Mbale via Tirinyi Road Soroti Lira, and Kampala Luwero Kamudini Gulu Kitgum. Our main offices are located at the Post Office Head Office on Kampala Road, with booking services available at counters 23 and 24 at the General Post Office. You can also book at designated district post offices along our routes. For inquiries or bookings, please contact us on 0751 684 184. Posta Uganda. We deliver trust.
Special announcement. The NRM National Chairman General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni Tibuhaburwa informs all party members